The School PR Podcast. We are back and better than ever. Matthew, what is up?
Hey there, living the reality. We are in crazy times, but we're all sticking together, getting through it, getting it done, and it's going well, man. How about you?
Doing good. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Ready or not, here they come. Be sure to visit schoolstatus.com, peachjar.com, nickelstrategies.com, and smore.com. Advocating for public education, sharing our stories and celebrating our schools, students, and staff. From crisis communications to media relations, social media, and everything in between, we're here to give you the best strategies, tools, and techniques to help you help your community. Welcome to the School PR Podcast, brought to you by Peach Jar, School Status, Nickel Strategies, and S'more. Love 'em or leave 'em. Here's your hosts, Matthew Jennings and Ryan Ferran.
And we're very glad you haven't left us yet. It is the School PR Podcast. We are talking everything public relations, communications in school PR. Matthew,
Yes.
good to see you as always.
Yes. How are you, sir?
Doing good. We are just a day or two away from CalSPA Conference in San Diego, so I'll see you there. Looking forward to that.
Indeed, I'm looking forward to it as well. It's going to be fun, and looking forward to the camaraderie, the professional development, getting to socialize and network with all the people we don't get to see from across the state as often as I'd like to. I'm really looking forward to it, man.
If you're looking for a great session to go to on Thursday at 10:45, Jake and I will be doing From Flames to Futures, School PR Strategies in the Wake of the Los Angeles Fires. So we've had a couple episodes talking about that. Jake and I are going to do a session on that 10:45 in the California Ballroom. Love to see you there, and we get some engagement kind of and talk about what your worries are for a natural disaster hitting your community, and are you prepared? And I have a ton of steps and resources and strategies. Having just gone through this, I was taking notes as I was going through it. Matthew and I were talking. Matthew gave me some good tips, and I still remember the one you were talking about. You know, you have access to some of these high school PTA web pages, Facebooks. Utilize those as well, because when you're in the middle of it, you're trying to get every single audience you can, all the information. So it's good reminders. So we'll be there on Thursday, and hope to see you there as well. What does Peach Jar have planned? I hope to see the crew down in SD. I know that's your home base.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Myself, Tabasum, and Kelly are going to be there. We are all looking forward to the conference. CalSPA is obviously a big one for us, one of our favorites. We absolutely love it there, and love just the chapter. And I mean, obviously, we love all of our chapters and our SPRAs, but CalSPA has been one of our longest standing, and we are definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to set up and just kind of melt in.
Nice. You guys have been there, CalSPA, Peach Jar, for a long time.
Yeah, we have. And, we are bringing some really exciting information. We have a whole new accessibility component to our platform, which we call ADA. We're looking forward to sharing that with everybody. But really long story short is it takes any document you upload to our platform. It can be JPEG, PNG, PDF, doesn't matter. And using assistive technology that is proprietary, we are able to pull the text out of that and create WCAG 2.2 compliant flyers, which is really, really incredible. So it creates an HTML format that forwards it on. So people using accessibility, services or readers on the back end have full WCAG 2.2 compliance. Not even 2.1. We're ahead of the curve. I don't know anybody else that's able to do that at this time. So it's really exciting, and we're happy to share it with everybody.
If I knew what WCAG 2.1 or 2.2 was, I would be impressed with myself. I don't, but I know you do, and I know Peach Jar does, and I know it makes life easy for us trying to be ADA compliant and help everyone get the information they need.
Yeah, and WCAG is the web content accessibility guidelines that were developed by a consortium that makes sure that information is accessible in as many ways as possible to as many people as possible, and especially to those who are differently abled. 2.1 is the letter of the law that we're all kind of held to right now. That's the gold standard. and 2.2 is just even a level above, like next step level, not required. And we meet 2.2. So just kind of in a nutshell, that's what's really exciting about
That's amazing. I know what WCAG is, but I appreciate you explaining it to maybe our our non-hip listeners.
it.
It's very
Yeah.
cool. I mean, I just love the ease of Peach Jar, and it's just seamless. And now you don't even need to do PDFs anymore. You can take whatever format, throw it in there, it reads it for you. It'll select the grades. It's good. So I'm looking forward to seeing you and the team down in San Diego.
Same. Absolutely gonna be a good time for sure. Several days of it.
What is your favorite Gene Hackman movie?
Mm.
I had to
I'm
watch
bad.
Hoosiers.
Yeah, I'm bad. Now Hoosiers wouldn't be I'm not into the sports kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
uh Hoosiers, I don't know. That one actually. I know he's super famous for that role. I don't know. I'd have to really look back to the catalog. Shocking
He,
news, definitely sad.
yeah. He doesn't he's such a famous actor and he's got some big movies, but they're not like, huge movies. But so you've never seen Hoosiers?
I don't believe so. No. I mean, I know there's like a speech in there or something, yada yada. But yeah, no. It's just because
It's
it's a
one of
sports film, right?
It is a sports film, but even if you
Yeah,
don't like sports, you would like it because it's life in a small town,
yeah,
overcoming the odds. He had a past that came back up, but it was so well done. I hate now where some movies they just try and be like it's like, are you trying to produce a movie, or are you trying to win a cinematic arts award by doing it? They get too artsy, too much into
yeah.
it's like just the story is going to tell itself. They do a good job. It's like very cinematic, but they're not trying so hard. That doesn't take away. I mean, that movie
Yep.
was in the early 80s too. It's a classic. I love that movie. Yeah. So I had to rent it after I heard the news. I had to rent it last week and I watched it twice. It's
Oh
so
wow.
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I don't, I just have so many movies in the queue ahead of things that are kind of related to sports, which is just not one of my
Yeah.
strong areas of interest. But yeah, I do think he's a great actor. So
Yeah. He's
sad
good.
news.
Very sad. So, yeah, I love that movie. I watched a couple other things. Some were depressing on Netflix. American Murder, that Gabby, I forget her last name,
Oh yeah,
Patino.
Petito Ridgeway or whatever. Petito, yeah, Gabby Petito, something like
Mhm.
that. Mm-hmm.
They have a
I
new
haven't checked
series
that
on
out. I
that.
saw that.
It's
Yep.
it's 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 interesting, but it's just so sad. It's just a disaster of a story. So I don't
Oh man.
know. I didn't
Yeah,
follow. Did you follow that when it was in the news? I never did.
I did a little bit. I mean, I check the news and I really read through the news every single day and I try to stay up with what's going on, hip trends and stuff like that. So I didn't get to it deeply, but I did follow it a bit when it made the headlines.
Yeah, and I mean it was good, but there was
Yeah.
something else. Oh, I watched Trial by Fire, a
Oh, I haven't
movie
heard that
based on
one.
a true story. Wow, that was good. And I wish I knew the actor's name off the top of my head, but the guy who played the main character, oh, he is. I gotta find his name, but he was so good. Didn't overact, but oh man, it was good movie, like great movie, like sad story, weird story. I won't do any spoilers, but it was interesting. I'd be interested to see what other people had to say about it, but that was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check that out. I don't know. I just don't get too much time to watch stuff. I need to maybe make some more time in my life to sit and just kind of digest some pop culture things on the streaming services.
Well, you have a life, I don't, so that's a good thing. Don't feel sorry for that.
No,
Um,
I just don't sit still. You know me, I just can't sit still.
yeah, true. Speaking of not sitting still, there's a lot of new people at conferences, and
Hmm.
you have a really probably one of the best perspectives on conferences in the I would say in the country, because you attended a lot for a long
Hmm.
time. You were on the Calsper board. You help organize them, host them, and now you're with a company that attends them and you go all over the country attending some of the best and biggest ones in the nation. And for the new people, they're always trying to figure out how to maximize their experience. And, as a newbie, do you have any advice as far as attending maybe your first or second conference, how to get the most out of it? There's conflicting
Hmm.
sessions you want to go to,
Absolutely.
what is your
There-
advice as a veteran?
if there's conflicting sessions, you're pretty much out of luck unless you've got two things. One, unless they're recording the sessions, which I haven't found anybody doing yet. There are SPRAs out there though that are taking their most popular sessions and then making them webinars later, live webinars later, which is a possibility. So you can check with your SPRA leadership if there are conflicting sessions to see if any of them will be potentially made available later. The other thing too that you can do is if you are traveling with a team, so an office of one, two, not just one, sorry, office of two or more, you can split, divide and conquer and look at that schedule together. And one of you takes one session, one takes the other, you take notes and kind of debrief and share. I encourage you to debrief and share as quickly after the session as possible. I wouldn't wait a week or 2 weeks down the road. You start to kind of lose what those gold nuggets were that you had. Other things were, I would say build your schedule out ahead of time. Really look at the agenda as much as you can get on your physical calendar, on the device calendar. Do that. If the SPRA is using an app and they have an app to download, definitely do that. It makes it really easy to add sessions, set up alerts, find out where the breakout rooms are. They're usually really great ways to socialize too. So if you're a first timer or maybe you're a second or third time and you just haven't made deep connections yet, that app could be a really great way for you to lean into kind of building some rapport and relationships with people before you get there. Dress comfortably, wear layers. If there's a special event night, make sure you've got some clothes for that so you feel like you're dressed appropriately and you're not underdressed for that. Sometimes the rooms are cold. That's why I suggest the layers. And then lastly, I'll say pace yourself. Take it easy. Everybody seems to, on multiple nights, everybody seems to get really excited the first night to see each other. And just make sure you still have some gas in the tank mentally and physically for the next day for the professional development and then the socialization networking is going to happen throughout that day and evening as well for the next day. So pace yourself, stay hydrated, get yourself some fresh fruit in your room, make sure you have water in your room. Those are my big ones.
I'm reading between those lines. It's good, wise advice. And
Yep.
Matthew and I had Jackie and Trinette on our last episode 132, talking about everything you need to know. So we dive much more into detail in 132, so you can check that out if you'd like. Yeah, it's exciting, good to connect with people, and yeah, definitely pace yourself because it's a long 3 days with lots of good learning opportunities and networking. So that'll
Yep.
be
Absolutely.
good. That'll be good. What else is on top of mind? Have you done? I've seen a couple of cool things. I saw myself on a peach jar reel recently. That was cool. So you guys
Yeah.
keep pumping out the content.
Yep. Keeping that game going, keeping that game strong. I'll actually be reaching out to a few peeps while we're at conference next week in hopes that I can record a couple of more videos and get some more professional development out there to the world. I think it's a really important mission, and I absolutely love doing that. Another thing that we're focused heavily on this year at Peach Jar is celebrating the community organizations that make Peach Jar strong and make the communities that they serve strong, and ultimately, increase the success of our students and academically, emotionally, physically. Really awesome. So we're going to be highlighting throughout the rest of the year some really great community organizations out there doing great work, making sure that parent, guardians, students, and staff are connected to important and valuable resources out there. So be looking for those stories as well. So not just going to be PD throughout the rest of this year. We're going to be doing some pretty cool storytelling.
That's awesome. And you can look probably in a week or so. We just did a webinar with Nickel Strategies, one of our awesome sponsors, managing communications and equity in today's evolving educational climate. It was a great kind of panel discussion that I moderated with Dr. Tamu Green, the CEO of the Equity and Wellness Institute, Jillian McKinney, Senior Director of Projects there at the Equity and Wellness Institute, Emily Popek, who works for Nickel Strategy and who we have had on the podcast before. Amazing podcast talking about accessibility, which you were talking about. And that is one of our most downloaded episodes as well. we'll release that. It was a great conversation. Matthew, you and I talked about a couple of weeks ago about all these executive orders. Like, oh my goodness, so many changes so fast. We don't know what they all mean, how they're going to be implemented. And it was a great conversation about how to balance all of this as they're coming in, how to get valuable input from all stakeholders in your community, and how to concentrate on the common ground, not our divisive differences that we're seeing all over our social media channels, our TV channels, and all that. So I really enjoyed the conversation with them, and it was a great turnout. So we'll release that recording on the podcast, and they're going to send it out this week as well. So look for that. And if you want to get in touch with the School PR podcast, we have a new email where you can just dive right into our inbox, and it's schoolprpodcast@gmail.com. And Matthew and I will take a look. We'll answer it if you got a question. And so you can contact us, schoolprpodcast@gmail.com, share your thoughts, or you can just curse us out, or whatever you want. Send us some hate mail. Hate mail, love mail, we get them all the same.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any of that. It's all good.
It's all good. Yeah, we have a great audience. Appreciate it. Yep. Appreciate our sponsors. Matthew, before we sign off, we're talking about, Jake and I, natural disaster, planning for it, and all these sort of things at our session in Calspra coming up. What advice would you have for somebody that hasn't gone through a natural disaster, but to make sure that they are prepared if their community, their schools go through something big, fire, earthquake, storm, power outages? What would you suggest they do ahead of time?
Wow, that's a huge one. And I don't know if we have time to go through all those details, but really super high level. What I would say is the work starts in the weeks, the months, and the years before the disaster occurs. So, if you don't have a strategy in place, written down, that your team is trained on, that people understand and know, they know how to find it. If you don't have some emergency communication already drafted, if you don't have the relationships with the local PIOs in the area as it relates to maybe other districts around you, other, the police departments that serve your community, hospitals that serve your community, you're behind already. There's just some things that you got to get in place, obviously media contacts, that kind of thing. So the work starts well before the crisis hits. And if you don't know exactly what boxes you need to check to make sure you've done that work, lean into your SPRA, lean into your partners, lean into your colleagues that serve in this similar or same role as you do. And they'll be sure to help you. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. I was taking notes going through when we closed schools here, we had a lot of our staff lose houses. So I got a lot of notes for people, and we'll share a lot of our tips and strategies as you go through it. Because you're right. If you're not prepared, you're not thinking about it, you're not running it through a scenario in your district before it happens, then it's going to go even worse. Because even when you're super prepared, there are things that aren't going to go great that you're going to have to adjust. And so the more prepared, the better you will be.
Yeah. Amen to that, brother.
All right, Matthew, we will see you in a day or two in hopefully sunny San Diego, although the weather forecast is not looking ideal at the moment. But hopefully we get some sunshine to come through and connect with all of our friends. And if you're down there, maybe we'll be doing some PTR extra credits, some school PR podcast shows down there. Stop by, say hello.
Let's plan that, please. Yes, let's plan it. Yep.
Let's do it. Are we going to do that like last time in Inspra?
Yes, we're doing it, dude. Yep, plan on it. Let's do it.
Sweet. All right. We'll see you down there. Check out the Peach Jar booth. And we'll be doing some live shows from Calspra. All right, everyone. Thank you. Great to chat with you. Thanks for connecting. And we will connect very soon.
Be sure to follow the School PR Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and X, where you can find additional resources and highlights from the show. Please like, subscribe, and all the fun stuff. And most importantly, without our sponsors, this podcast doesn't exist. Please visit schoolstatus.com, peachjar.com, nickelstrategies.com, and s'more.com. Until next time, keep learning, inspiring, and making a difference. Thanks so much for your support of the School PR Podcast.